Hello there, Jared the Dark Jedi here. As all of you are aware, the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild are both on strike. And after some consideration, it has been determined that review content, like what is mostly predominantly makes up a lot of what we produce, is still going to be not considered crossing the picket line. It is still encouraged by the Screen Actors Guild, who established new terms additional to what was being asked to be complied with the WGA. What we do here, the conversations we love to have with a bunch of our friends, to have with you guys, is not possible. The stories we love to talk about, the stories that we love, do not get made without the blood, sweat, tears, creativity, and brilliance of the writers and actors. And currently, the studios who produce the things we love are working these writers and actors to death, not compensating them appropriately, and are trying to replace them with AI. I would think it goes without saying that the Nerd Academy podcast stands staunchly with the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild, and we'll be supporting them from here until the end of these strikes in whatever way that we can. There will be links in each episode description so that you are able to see how you can help, where you can help, how you can donate to different funds to keep food in the belly and roofs over the heads of the writers and actors who are trying to make historic change in Hollywood as we speak. This review, this discussion, this news roundup, whatever the episode may be, was recorded during these strikes, and our love for the works of these writers, of these actors, will continue to be praised and discussed while they fight for their rights. And I want to implore everybody watching and listening to aid in whatever way they can. We stand in solidarity, and we ask that you do too. So, without any further ado, here's the show.
Hello, my friends. It is Hondo, and welcome back to the Knights of the Nerd Republic. You know what to do, and stay profitable.
The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. There's 3 people just laughed. Hello there, and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic, the show where your favorite nerds talk all things about the galaxy far, far away. I am your host, Jared the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and I am reporting to you from the future. We kind of jumped right into the show last night, because we only had Connor for a limited amount of time, so I jumped over all of the recording stuff. But the advantage of me being from the future is that I know that we did not end up being able to record our Secret Invasion season review today, and it will most likely not come out for at least another week and a half or so, and expect that to be the same with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. As I allude to a couple times throughout the shows that came out this week, I am going to be getting a kind of like hell week, training week for my new job. I'm going to be a server's assistant at a new bar in Pittsburgh, and there's a whole week of training that they're doing, and I don't know fully what my schedule is going to look like quite yet. But I do know is I'm basically going to have my entire day for the next 7 days be eaten up at work, and then I'll be back home in Latrobe to visit my family, because I have family coming from out of town for Steelers training camp. So I'll be doing that. And yeah, so like I said before, don't expect a whole lot to come out this week. I apologize about the Secret Invasion review. So it may be a TNAP free week for you guys, unfortunately. So my bad. I'm very proud of the constant stream we've had coming out. Like I said, we're beginning to get this space turned into a studio, and I know I talk about it all the time. I can't wait to wear green again. I have so much green. I have so many great green shirts that you guys have never seen, and I can't wait to wear them. But all of that said, all of those programming notes taken care of. I do need to give a brief word from our sponsors at SundaysBloodyMary.com. You guys know the drill. SundaysBloodyMary.com has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the galaxy with their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix and their mild and traditional mixes. If the spice isn't for you, if you're feeling freaky, you can go ahead and get your garnish on by throwing some dilly beans, pickled okra, and a pickled asparagus in your bloody. I highly recommend the pickled asparagus. That is my jam. It's one of my favorite things to put in a Bloody Mary. And if you really want to get nasty, go ahead and salt that rim. And get on over and use our code TNAP, TNAP, to get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. And share it on social media and tag us and Sunday's Bloody Mary. Tell them that you're getting their bloody on because of your favorite nerds. But with that, we have a very fun little news roundup episode and a very, very long-winded answer to a question left by a friend of the show, Eli of Around the Galaxy. Not Around the Galaxy, Star Wars in a Galaxy. That's a different fucking show. No, Eli from In a Galaxy, our commissioner from Epic Confrontations, left a question that had to do with the 7 lightsaber forms, and I went on a very long answer because it deserved a long answer. So enjoy that. We talk Acolyte, we talk Ahsoka, we talk Lando, we talk Outlaws. I think this is a great episode. It was a lot of fun. Hoping to get at least 1 or 2 more Star Wars topic episodes in the can before we get locked into Ahsoka season. So yeah, enjoy the show. And it is time for a fun little Star Wars news roundup. Haven't done one of these in a hot minute. I haven't had the news or really a chance to sit down and chomp it up. But here we go. We got some fun news. We are going to be doing a little bit of front loading for this one. Normally, I like to start with trailer talk, but we only have Connor for a little bit, and Connor is fiending to talk High Republic.
I do want to say, though, first, because I wasn't on, I didn't realize you guys... I forgot that you guys were going to do, Barbie stuff. Basically, I have seen Barbie twice. I have not seen Oppenheimer. I have very little interest in seeing it. Barbie's amazing. That's all I got to say. High Republic.
Did not mean to throw a rave in the middle of that, Connor. I'm so sorry. I was trying to get my ring light back to a solid color.
I didn't even notice. You're good.
But we have news out of San Diego Comic-Con from the Lucasfilm Publishing panel. So yeah, let's jump right into it. This is from the StarWars.com article. Judging by the latest cover reveals for the Phase 3, the Jedi of the High Republic are bringing the fight to the Nile when the new books and comics arrive later this year. Today, Lucasfilm's Michael Siglin, publishing creative director, hosted a panel of all-star authors Delilah S. Dawson, Justina Ireland, E.K. Johnston, George Mann, Kevin Scott, Charles Soule, and narrator and voice actor extraordinaire Mark Thompson at San Diego Comic-Con 2023. During the hour-long discussion, we got new insights into the next phase of storytelling in the era of the High Republic, an early glimpse into the pages of comics, including Marvel's Dark Droids and Dark Horse's Tales from the Death Star, and got our first look at covers and spreads from forthcoming books and comics. Here are 10 things that were revealed. First up, we have our look at, here, let me do a screen share, at Tales from Starlight is the title? Shadow of Starlight. Shadow of Starlight.
There is Tales of Light and Life.
Yeah, that's what I was getting confused with. So we got our cover here of Elzar Mann, Jedi who fucks, standing amongst the wreckage of Starlight Beacon. Pardon me. As Phase 3 begins, Charles Soule will examine the first year after the fall of Starlight Beacon. And the panel Soul gave fans a look at the cover of Marvel's The High Republic, Shadows of Starlight #2, featuring Elzar Mann standing on a cliff overlooking the wreckage. And we also got the look at issue 1. Keep going here. Keith Trennis is ready for battle as Kevin Scott returns for the Star Wars The High Republic. In this series relaunch for Phase 3 this November, Keith Trennis has matured and stands flanked by Lorna D. and Tarek, or is it Saret, as seen on the newly revealed cover of The High Republic #1. Scott also gave fans a look at the first panel and a desperately new threat and a prowling nameless creature on the cover of The High Republic 2. So we got 2, and then we got issue 1 for High Republic relaunch.
Phenomenal look. Just
oh yeah, I mean Kiev is always just
no.
one of the baddest in every way. Looking at the High Republic Adventures from Dark Horse. Zine and Court are all grown up with the relaunch of Daniel Jose Order's Star Wars The High Republic Adventures. The Dark Horse series will return for Phase 3 with the continuing adventures of Zine and Court, as seen on the cover reveal of The High Republic Adventures #1, with a mysterious looming figure as the duo graces the cover of High Republic Adventures 2. So there we go.
I think a lot of I think just a lot of fans who read the High Republic forget, myself included, actually, is that we all heard that like, oh, Phase 3 is going to take place a year after Phase 1, and we're like, okay, interesting, but like Phase 1 took 2 years. I think that's something we all forget.
Yeah, that was Phase 1 does take, like, that is a long story, and like we've basically been like at the Jedi of the High Republic have been at war with the Nile for 3 years at this point. Jumping
but I'm
back,
really excited,
dude. Fucking same. We chop it up once we get through the article here. Ram John Moran is back in the cover reveal for High Republic Escape from Valo, the first middle grade book in Phase 3, written by Daniel Jose Older and Alyssa Wong. We'll introduce some new Jedi into the mix this January. And like we said, we have a good look here at Jam. I love the lightsaber blade diversity here. Is what I love to see. I love to see very a hodgepodge of everything.
Plus a blue Nihil symbol.
Oh, yeah. Plus the Nihil. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Moving on, we got our first look at Vanessa Rowe, Jordana Sparkburn, and Avon Staros on the cover of High Republic Defy the Storm. In the anonymous art for the YA story written by Tessa Gratton and Justina Ireland, the trio is surrounded by a sea of Nihil fighters. Again, seeing a little bit of an older Vanessa Rowe here. I like the I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love a Jedi in a scoundrel outfit. So Vern looking cool as hell here. And then we got the forthcoming High Republic character encyclopedia with some splash pages here for the Drengir, for Chancellor Lena So, Stellan Gios, may he rest in peace. I'm gonna need
that.
Huh?
Same.
I'm gonna need that. I have not gotten into High Republic stuff at all really yet, honestly. So like I'm gonna be hitting that up probably.
Dude, yeah, it's fantastic. I cannot recommend.
I haven't given myself over to Star Wars comics yet.
Well, I mean, the comics
are very good.
The comics are great. I really like the novels. That's where I've been hanging out. I highly, highly, highly recommend the audiobooks. They are, in my opinion, objectively the best way to enjoy a Star Wars book. But yeah, no, and honestly, even as somebody who loves the High Republic, Phase 1 especially, I haven't been jiving with Phase 2. But I do want to make an effort here before Phase 3 starts to really get in there. Even I have an issue like keeping some of these Jedi straight because there are so many, and I experience most of them in like audiobook format. So being able to kind of like go back through some of these books with like this encyclopedia in my hands to be like, yes, this is who we're talking about. Cool. Moving on. I think will help a great deal. And there's Stellan just in his
visual component of the High Republic, I think, is such a strength and such a necessity, really, for most people, myself included.
Yeah. And the other nice thing is that as the article says here, with new pages featuring Jedi Master Stellan Gios, Chancellor Lando So, and a Dren gear. The reference guide arriving in December will prove a wealth of intel on over 200 characters from all 3 phases of the High Republic. So pretty much everybody will be here, which will be very convenient. We got our first look inside Marvel's Star Wars Dark Droids. Beyond the High Republic Initiative, the panel revealed the first pages from the Inside the Star Wars Dark Droids #1, written by Charles Soule, featuring some action going on here in this very high octane between Empire and Jedi period. And then saw a peek into Dark Droids D Squad. Fans finally got a look at spreads from Star Wars Dark Droids D Squad #1, written by Mark Guggenheim, showcasing R2-D2 sailing through the stars and reuniting with Chopper and a pit droid, which is fun. Coming through these pages here. The terrifying tales from the Death Star is creeping toward a fall release. Writer Kevin Scott revealed multiple spreads from his latest horror, offering to the San Diego Comic-Con audience a preview of thrills to come this September. Now we have one that I'm very excited for. Dawn of the Rebellion, a visual guide from Pablo Hidalgo and Emily Shakunai. This is very exciting. Me in particular here with the Fortress Inquisitorius stuff. It's basically going to be a visual guide for the Imperial era. We glimpsed House Organa and other pages from Star Wars Dawn of the Rebellion, a visual guide from Lucasfilm's Pablo Hidalgo, plus the final cover. In addition to the in-depth spread on Alderaanian royalty, the panel revealed pages from The Rise of the Stormtrooper, Fortress Inquisitorius, and our first look at the final cover art. So yeah, very, very fun stuff coming out of Lucasfilm Publishing this year, as always. Lots of fun stuff on the horizon. Speaking of Lucasfilm Publishing stuff, I have something cooking, fingers crossed. I'm not going to say what, pardon me, in the event it doesn't pan out. But what I will say regarding it is that Star Wars Inquisitor, Rise of the Red Blade, fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough as an Inquisitor fanboy. What is a lovely novel, and I think that it tackles it might be one of the first pieces of Star Wars media to broach the topic of the Jedi are flawed, but the dark side is not the answer, and it very much goes.
Who knew?
Well, it goes about it in a very nuanced way.
Yeah.
Because most fans, and it's very justified. There are a lot of people who project a lot of religious trauma onto the Jedi Order. And it's a very valid interpretation of Star Wars. I'm not going to take that away from anybody. However, a lot of the time, I think that there is such a fuck the Jedi for being so restrictive in their beliefs that it, for some fans, I think justifies the dark side. And that there is the Jedi suck, and if you read the Sith Code doesn't make you pretend that these
it makes you free.
Real. It makes you free, and that is the ultimate con of the Sith, is that you are not free. You are bound by your hatred. You are bound by your rage, and
the best way
being a slave to a master.
Yeah, the best way the dark side was ever described to me was actually not in any official source material. It was from a friend of mine. And I hope I have it right, but I think he said the dark side offers slavery as if you were the master.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm
Big facts.
That quote from my friend just recontextualized the dark side for me in such a clear way.
No, I mean that is absolutely the truth. There are so many. Most characters fall to the dark side seeking some form of freedom. It's very true of what happens in Dawn of the Red Blade, Rise of the Red Blade, and I can't recommend it enough. I won't spoil the specifics there, but my God, is it wonderful! And Delilah S. Dawson absolutely hit it out of the park. Like I said, it is exciting. It is action packed, and it is nuanced in its depictions of the Force, and in particular the dark side. And I cannot recommend it enough. I'm hoping one of two things will happen. Either the thing I'm trying to make happen, or there will be a review done on the show at some point. So TBD, maybe both. Who knows? Anyway, Connor, thoughts on the High Republic stuff here?
I can't fucking wait, dude. I'm like, again, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I almost didn't read Phase 1. And I'm happy that wasn't the case because Phase 1, some of the best Star Wars I ever consumed, specifically Keith Trennis's story. I'm just really excited to see, like, on a macro level, how the Order sort of evolves or devolves from the threat of the Nihil. And how like what the state of the galaxy looks like in terms of just regular people like you and I. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do when the Nihil are just going just everywhere around? And on a micro level, obviously, all the characters, what are their arcs? What do they go through? Specifically, what does Jedi Master Keith Trennis go through? And like 99% of us, we're like 99% sure we know the answer. But there's that small bit of me. There is that small part of me that's like, maybe not. Maybe not. But like, Master Trennis from Dooku Jedi Lost. I don't know. Dots are connecting.
I mean, hey, I am very curious to see how that pans out. I know
Written by the same author.
I know I've said
Possibly
for some time. And a lot of people have said this, that like something that like the Jedi may take a level of initiative with the Nihil threat that is the beginning of the end of the Order and like this golden age for them. That like this is going to be the moment they take that step too far into like, yeah, we're just the Republic's military and lean into that. Like we were the unofficial army of the Republic. Not big enough to be a standing galactic military force, but enough to be one that can be sent. Yeah, but enough to be like a special police force.
Because like by Phase 1, by the time of like Phase 1, like they're not. No. They're in coordination. They're in really good coordination.
They're working together, but it's not like, hey, Space
we
Wizards,
need you to
go
do your thing. Go settle this dispute.
Yeah, go get involved in like
go keep the peace.
Business.
Yeah. Go get involved in some like taxation of trade routes or something.
My favorite movies are about taxations of trade routes. But
like we've said, like we've talked about it before, Jared, and I think we have mentioned it on the show before, and I'll keep mentioning it again. The fact that you want Marchion dead, and the fact that I'm kind of with you, it could go into that.
It could, like, yeah, absolutely.
Somebody could kill some Jedi, let's say like Bell or somebody could just kill him.
When we had
like step too far.
We had Alex and Molly Damon on a bajillion years ago for like a story so far for Wave 2, talking about the High Republic. And I had brought up that like I think a part of like why this is the golden age and why it will end is because like someone will go too far with Marchion Ro. And for the longest time I was like, ooh, maybe it's Stellan. Like maybe like that is the fall from grace, is watching this paragon of the Order kind of come unglued and fuck this guy up. Now, obviously, spoilers, that can't happen. So perhaps, well, and again, like I like the idea that this could go either way. Like,
but
the
we
Jedi could go too far. We do have Avar. But I think
hope it doesn't go that route.
I think it's less interesting if it's Avar at this point, though. I think if Avar just spends spends like basically a phase and a half being like bloodthirsty to like execute the leader of the Nihil, that like her character becomes kind of flat, and I think it will be more tragic if it is either Keeve or Elzar Mann.
Interesting.
I think if Keeve feels that she was pushed by the Order to do something that was against the code, that she like, I have to hang it up, and that's why she's part of the Lost 20. Or we see Elzar like basically like accept, like, I know that I was never like truly gonna be welcomed in by the Jedi top brass. Y'all only threw me a bone because Stellan asked you to. He's gone now, and I'm gonna fuck this guy up and I'm gonna call it peace. You know, I think I'm very fascinated for this phase, and like I love these characters. and maybe not maybe it is antithetical to the very like mission statement of the High Republic era of Star Wars. But I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Like, I just want revenge on the fucking Nile. I want to watch them. I want to watch every single one of them get their shit rocked. I say it all the time. Markion Rowe deserves Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
He does not. Like, Markion is going to get off with someone like Bel Zettifar, who is too noble to do to Markion Rowe what he has coming. He needs some good old fucking street justice from Anakin Skywalker or some other crazy fuck like him. Put Markion in a room with Pong Krell. Fuck that guy. Like, I want Markion needs his muffin cap peeled back blue. Like, he needs to get fucked up. I will not be happy if anything sub-mutilation happens to him. I'm sorry. Like, I need Markion Rowe to die, and I want it to be slow, and I want it to hurt.
You just possibly just gave yourself a new Versus episode.
Who, Anakin versus Pong Krell?
No. Pong Krell versus Markion Rowe.
It's not a fair fight.
Okay, fair.
The man is plasma beam razor blades versus a guy who's most famous for having a Mark Thompson sexy voice and man spreading. Markion Rowe's force power is man spreading. Got me a fucking break. I'm sorry.
My job is man spreading.
Not lifeguard. Beach. I
beach people off.
I beach people off. No, Casey, you need to get into the High Republic so you can figure out why the fuck I want Markion Rowe dead so bad. No,
you're gonna find.
I hate him. He's a great. Like, don't get me wrong. He's a great character. Like, this isn't like, oh, I hate this character. He's so poor.
He's a wonderful villain.
Fantastic villain.
It's because he's a good villain.
Yeah. Well, it's that, and he's a piece of shit. You're gonna find out by like the end of the second adult novel.
All right.
Like, that's going to be I think that's going to be pretty much the start of it. From what I can remember, Jared, like, is that why?
That's when I turned on him. First book, the first, like, Light of the Jedi, I was not, like, horny for Markion Rowe.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been a Markion Ho. I've never, like, he's never been my type.
Markion Ho.
I can't take responsibility for that term. I was like, oh, like, he is a fantastic villain, and like, kudos to the High Republic team for like getting me interested in a Star Wars villain who doesn't have a lightsaber. But by the end of the second book, that is when I was like tweeting like the clip of Sam Jackson in A Time to Kill. Every time someone brings up Markion Rowe, just, yes, I think he deserves it, and I hope he burns in hell. Fuck Markion Rowe. Fuck Markion Rowe.
I'll have to get there. Is it books or comics or both?
Yes, but like the main ones are the books.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like they intersect a good bit, but like I read all of Phase 1 before I touched a comic.
Gotcha.
So like, you know, there was a little bit of like Googling I had to do. And
the comics, the main comic especially like tells its own story because it's very centered on Jedi Knight Keeve Trennis. So it's like, it's more so her story, but there are like direct references of stuff that happens in like the other books.
Okay.
So I have most of the Phase 1 audiobooks on my Audible case, and I can give you the login and you can just blast through those.
All right.
I let Spencer use my Audible, so I'll let you log into that. I can't recommend it enough. And again, it's incredible. They're wonderfully written books with fantastic characters, and I want Markion's death to be slow.
Yep.
He deserves it. And he's not that hot. I'm sorry, he's not that hot. He man spreads. Like ladies. Ladies, I love you. Star Wars queers, I love you. This man just spreads his legs on chairs. That's all he does. He is horribly manipulative. He is a sadistic bastard. You can do so much better. You can do so much better with men in Star Wars who meet all of that criteria. Who isn't just a wanton piece of shit. Do better. Markion Rowe deserves to die. Okay. We can move on to a different piece of High Republic news now.
Mic drop.
I'll kill him myself. He'll be fucking Fabian Martell hours. Okay, let's let me at him. Let me at him. I got this lightsaber. I got the hidden blade. I got the space blicky. Let's go.
Got the space blicky.
Other piece of
Gator needs his gat.
What?
Gator needs his gat from the other guys.
I couldn't hear what you said, and I was like, wait, it says Gator needs his cat. We have a fun article from Entertainment Weekly, a fun exclusive. Dalton Ross. Byline, Star Wars series The Acolyte will feature a lack of blasters. The stars of the Disney Plus show say their lightsaber battles could be even better than that of the Phantom Menace's epic melee. When it comes to Star Wars projects on either the big screen or the small, The Acolyte, which will be coming to Disney Plus in 2024, promises to stand out in several ways. Not only is it the most diverse franchise project ever, and not only is it a Star Wars show with no war in it, but the more intimate individual battles hope to set the bar for action sequences taking place in the galaxy far, far away. To this point, the bar for lightsaber battles has been set by the Duel of the Fates face-off between Darth Maul and the tag team duo of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn in The Phantom Menace. And it turns out that well-choreographed clash featuring flips, twists, and a definite martial arts flair served as inspiration for the action sequences that we will be seeing in The Acolyte. Manny Jacinto, Daphne Keene, and Charlie Barnett stopped by EW's Dagobah Dispatch podcast before the current SAG-AFTRA strike to talk all things Acolyte and have a message for fans of that epic Darth Maul duel. Quote, "If you love that sequence with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Maul," says Jacinto, "I think you're going to like this show." Concurs Keene, "You'll love this." Their co-star Barnett goes even further when comparing the fight scenes of The Acolyte to that of The Phantom Menace. "I will say, too, not to shade, but we have a lot more tangible physical moves than what I saw in that fight," says Barnett, who, like Keene, is playing a Jedi. "As badass as it is, there's a lot more grounded work that goes into our stunt training and our stunt performances." For Barnett, that reliance on practical and physical work will come through on the screen. "We have an awesome stunt team doing so much without cables, without CGI, without a lot of effects. It makes the fight seem so much more visceral, truly. I mean, I know I've been hit on the head a couple of times." Keene also admits to being bonked on her noggin on a couple occasions. Quote, "All of that fight training that we've gone through is so heavily influenced by samurai. Only this time, laser swords are subbing in for, actual swords." And that choice of lightsaber weaponry also appealed to Keene. "I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I just will say it. There's a lack of guns, which personally, as someone who loves fighting and stunts and stuff, I love because it gives you that body-to-body choreography, that dance feeling. It really looks like a real fight as opposed to just I point and I shoot, which is kind of an easy cop-out in a way. We get a lot of that body-to-body. Of course, the less you use blasters, the more you must rely on fight training and choreography, both with and without lightsabers. Quote, "We have a lot of the sabers," says Keene, "and Chris Cohen and Mark Gunther and Darren Knopp have choreographed all of these wonderful stunts in such a beautiful way. It's visually stunning. We watched some of the stuff the other day, and it was just gorgeous. And then we have a bunch of fights as well where there are no sabers, and it's just really full on. It's also really fun and does look really gritty and real. It's like a real fight." And that fight will be in 2024 on Disney Plus. So, a couple of things here. First of all, one of my favorite things about the High Republic era, I've said this a lot, is that it feels like the beginning of the Phantom Menace. Like, one of my favorite eras of Star Wars is like, at least in Legends, was that like right before the Phantom Menace or right after the Phantom Menace era? Because like the galaxy was not at war yet, war was not on the horizon yet. Like it was still very much like the Republic is operating at its peak. You know, like the like in canon, the High Republic is over. This era of expansion, this era of like the Jedi and the Republic being at their pinnacle has ended. But like it's still like, you know, your basic day to day with the Jedi and the Galactic Republic being in bed together, and Jedi going on these like heroic missions, the galaxy over. I get so much of that specific flavor of Star Wars that resonates with me so deeply with the High Republic. You know, like I've always said, like like when you ask me like what does Star Wars feel like, it feels like watching Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting their way through the droid control ship. Like that is one of like when you ask me for like a snapshot of Star Wars, it's those two side by side mowing down battle droids. And hearing the Acolyte get compared to the Phantom Menace, like a High Republic story that's like, yeah, it's very Phantom Menacey, like my brain just immediately starts to buzz. I love all of this. I cannot wait for the Acolyte. I've seen that leaked trailer from Celebration. The show is going to be something special.
Yeah.
I am fully prepared for the Acolyte to become my new favorite Star Wars TV show.
Same.
Like, and Obi-Wan and the Mandalorian are always like just kind of like, you know, in like a push and pull with each other every day. That like the Acolyte is going to be the tiebreaker for me to just like put Obi-Wan and Mando probably at like at a strong tie for second place, because I can feel in my bones that the Acolyte is going to just change my brain chemistry. You know, not only because again, not only are we going to get to see the High Republic in live action and that aesthetic and that era and that whole and just the emotional continuity.
Vernestra Rowe too.
Yeah, homegirl Vanessa Rowe, live action. You know, all of that, like that excites me. But like everything they're saying, Alden loves to make jokes about it. But like the last shot of the trailer for the Acolyte is this cluster of like 12 Jedi all like igniting their lightsabers, and it's like this rainbow of blues and greens and purples and yellows.
I have not seen Alden make any jokes, so I'm very happy. Do not tell me any of them.
No, just that like it just how awesome it looks and how I'm going to reach climax when that trailer is finally released to the public.
I hope that trailer's released to the public soon. I would love that.
Yeah. Oh, and there's like Matrix-y kind of like hand-to-hand stuff happening too. Not like bullet time, but like very, very
I
like
think I've seen
very like light-handed, like kind of like hand-to-hand stuff.
Oh, because they're doing no blasters, so it's just lightsaber and then just like
it's very like like it's very clear like two force
lightsabers and martial arts. A Star Wars story.
Jared.
Oh yeah.
But like it's like two force users like doing like a bit of hand-to-hand stuff, but it's very like cinematography wise, like very Matrix-y. And like, and again, it's this shit's gonna be good, bro. I cannot wait for the Acolyte. I cannot wait for the Acolyte. Hey, studios, pay your fucking writers and actors so we can get this shit on the road. Pay the writers and
actors.
Please just do it, guys. What the fuck?
Please pay them.
This isn't hard. You guys have a lot of money.
You have the money. Like, you just give it to them.
You just, what do you do? Just jerk off with it? Like, goddamn.
Netflix has a budget of $900,000 for AI consultants. What?
For shame. For shame. For
$900,000.
We talked about it on TNAP yesterday. And I'm pretty sure it's like $500,000 from Disney for the same positions. Or not the same positions, but still for like AI related shit. $500,000. Damn near $1 million from Netflix. Now, granted, a lot of those positions, like the Disney ones, were like were like geared towards the Imagineer stuff, and a lot of the Netflix stuff was like, oh, like help us to improve the app and whatnot. But like, motherfucker, we're not stupid.
Yeah.
We know where this is going. And how dare you look anybody in their eyes and say these demands from the writers and actors are ridiculous. They're disturbing. And then you go ahead and you try to pay $1 million for a motherfucking robot. Go fuck yourself.
I agree with that sentiment.
Wholeheartedly.
But yeah, Connor, I don't know how much longer we have you, but just because the natural segue, speaking of writers,
I got a few more minutes.
You got a minute? You still got a minute?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Lando stuff.
We have it's childish Landino, homegirl dropping like the NASDAQ. Anyway, big news. Finally, a bit of fucking news about the Lando show.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. Donald Glover and brother Stephen Glover to write Lando series. Justin Simeon has exited the Disney Plus project, which has Donald Glover attached to reprise his role from Solo: A Star Wars Story. This is from Hollywood Reporter. Brothers Donald Glover and Stephen are teaming up to pen Disney Plus's Lando. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. This is originally reported by Jeff Snyder. The deal, first reported by Above the Line, was made prior to the writer's strike, which began in May. Justin Simeon, who was previously attached to develop Lando, exited the Star Wars project prior to the duo signing on. Disney announced in December 2020 that the Lucasfilm show was in the works. Donald Glover, who will star in the series, previously played Lando Calrissian in 2018. Solo: A Star Wars Story. Star Wars: A Star Wars Story. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. I love Atlanta. Donald Glover is a deeply, deeply talented writer. And this is no shade to Justin Simeon. I haven't seen any of his work that I'm aware of, and I do look forward to seeing Haunted Mansion. However, Donald Glover having this in his own hands to kind of craft his own Lando story, I'm in, man. This is such a layup, like,
yeah.
Again, I don't want to say it's an upgrade as a slight to Justin Simeon, so much as it's like I am such an intense fan of Donald Glover's work in television, in film, in music, in comedy that like I'm in. I've begun making appointments to schedule getting a tattoo based on one of his albums. Like I am a very big fan of Donald Glover. So I just this excites me so much. I'm very fascinated to see where this will go. I know there's a lot of people, myself included, who would have loved to have seen Solo get some form of sequel and get some type of love and acknowledgement that I think it sorely deserves. And Lando being that in some way makes me happy. Not to jump around too much, but a friend of the show, Scotty J. Rowe.
My voice.
That last part gets me every time.
I recorded an episode of Comic Book Cast with Mitch today, and for some reason Skype just does not like my setup. So anytime I'm on Comic Book Cast, we actually just record it using the TNAP StreamYard account. And from now on, I just start pushing random clip buttons. And Mitch made a funny joke where he was like, every time I hear it, I understand more and more of what he's saying. And it's true. I did not know what he was saying in most of that clip, except for bombad.
Yeah, all I hear was we made it, celebration, and it was bombad.
Okay, listen. Okay, I'm gonna play it again. Listen closely. What he's saying is, I walked all the way over here from New Orleans, and we made it. Is bombad.
My voice.
The window tap at the end.
We made it.
If I listen, one of these days, I am going to take that video and like remove the audio from it and just put like the bit from the Dark Knight. And just people will die. I'm a man of my word. Like, because that literally, when it gets all up in his face, it is that is the exact scene. I'm a man of my word. Anyway,
Send it over to me. I'll clip it up for you.
And I'm a man of my word too, because I do need to get that.
All right, get out of here.
But Star Wars,
Yeah,
we're looking pretty good.
We've
always looked
in
good.
the Star Wars realm.
So yeah. But I'll see you guys.
Some
See
people
you
will
later,
tell you
buddy.
it doesn't look good. Later, Connor. Some people will tell you that it doesn't look good. But in reality, it always looks good.
It's always good.
This beautiful blank of a galaxy.
Wait, what?
I can't say the word. I can't pay all the
But Scotty, not to jump ahead into the Q&A segment, said, do you think Lando will be the spiritual successor to Solo? And in many ways, I do think it will. I think it will be.
Yeah.
I do think it will. Words, English language. I'm fluent. No, I do think
every day.
I think it. What'd you say?
I said you spike it every day.
Spike it every day. But no, I do think in many ways it will continue that legacy. You know, I think the way Solo ends, I would have loved to have seen that story they were setting up. You know, and yes, I do understand like criticisms of Solo that are very like, you know, we see Han get his blaster and the ship and meet Chewie. Like in one adventure, Han Solo becomes Han Solo. And I understand why people kind of like bump up against that, and it's whatever. But like the story that gets teased at the end of that movie of like the first time Han Solo works for Jabba the Hutt. And if it's the first time
like
Han
how he got wrapped up in that mess.
You got wrapped up in that mess, and like I don't necessarily think like, oh, like this was the adventure that got Han in hot water with Jabba. So much as like this is the beginning of him getting into bed with the Hutt cartel for a while. And like that, the idea of like him meeting Boba Fett for the first time, like all of that, I think is just really exciting. You know, I would have loved to have seen that, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hope it happens in the Lando show. I don't think it will, and I don't blame Donald Glover if like the direction he and Lucasfilm decide to take is more centered on Lando, and I don't need Han Solo to show up in this.
Right.
I would be interested in it because I would like, I mean, you know, one of the funniest things about Legends, I don't think it's happening canon as much, but there was this problem in Legends where people loved to tell stories about Han and Lando before The Empire Strikes Back. But the problem was every single one of those stories had to end with Han fucking Lando over in some way. Because Lando has to be mad at Han when he sees him.
Right.
So every single time those two interacted pre-Empire, the story will end with Han Solo doing something to piss Lando off, and that's how the story ends every single time. So, like, granted, maybe you don't need Han to be there, but I would love to at some point get to see a glimpse of that first job, be it a comic, a novel, a game. I don't fucking care. I would just want to see the first time that stuff happens. I would love to. I love what Solo sets up for them. And I am just beyond thrilled to see what a Donald Glover Lando show would look like. And this is all up to the studios. Today there was reporting about how the Actors Guild was like, hey, you know, AMPTP, whenever you're ready to get back to negotiating, we're game. And the AMPTP said, go fuck yourself. So like this is like, again, all of this falls squarely in the lap of the studios. And I don't mean to be macabre, and I don't mean to like reduce a human being's life to their career, but like when this show was originally announced and it was originally pitched, it was Billy D and Gambino.
Oh,
When the show was
I
originally
didn't know that.
yeah, kind of, and like when they said like both Billy D. Williams and Donald Glover will be reprising their role as Lando Calrissian, which gives you the obvious implication that it's going to be the Calrissian Chronicles. That in some way, shape, or form,
Right.
Billy D. acknowledging this story and then flashing back to Donald Glover on some adventure, which just writes its fucking self.
Yeah, dude.
It's right there. And again, I don't want to be macabre and I don't want to like be reductive here, but like I don't think we have Billy for much longer, man.
Yeah.
Like again, I hate to be macabre and I hate to take it to that place, but like he loves that character, he loves that role, and I think he deserves to get to like have a swan song with Lando. Like, and
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
be that, but like something that is Lando centered to let Billy like get to lead that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I was talking over you. I apologize.
No, you're good. I feel like I don't know. Like I feel like with Childish Landino taking it over, like I feel like he's the type of guy that would want to have something like that, like because it not only would it be like the like swan song for Billy D. Williams, which would be like super cool, not only for him but like for Star Wars fans and everything. But like he's the guy who played the character originally. Like,
yeah,
if Billy D. Williams hadn't played him originally, would Childish Gambino have been interested in the role? Like,
yeah.
Would the Star Wars movies have been what they were if it wasn't Billy D. Williams type shit? Like, and I think Donald's the type of dude that would be like, bring him back in to be like, hey man, here you go. Like, thank you for like making me able to do this, but like, you take the final bow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously we'll have to see, but like, I don't know. I hope something like that would happen. That'd be super cool.
I do too. It's just right there.
Yeah, dude.
I need it.
Yeah, I'm also with you on like Atlanta was great. I loved Atlanta. And like I'm also excited to see like where Donald Glover's mind goes with like, all right, I'm a scoundrel I'm a space scoundrel. Like I'm a smuggler, like whatever else Lando got into. Like obviously, like I feel like Donald's gonna be like, all right, Lando's definitely like pimp daddy. For sure.
Yeah.
Like he's gotta be bagging bad bitches on every planet, for sure. Like doing that type shit too.
Hey, everybody, don't forget Lando, pansexual. Canonically.
Right. Exactly. Bagging baddies from all over the place.
That's one of my favorite interviews of the Star Wars actor ever. Was like somebody interviewing them brought up like, oh, it's been said that Lando's pansexual, and Donald Glover's like, yeah, of course he is. Like,
have you seen the guy?
Like, it was like, have you seen the guy? And he was also like, there are so many things to have sex with in space.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be straight? Come on. And it's like, like hey, there's gonna be beings that like culturally and biologically do not express gender or sex. You got to take that into account,
Right.
And when you look like Donald Glover, it doesn't matter what's between your legs, you're pulling.
Hell yeah, brother. End podcast. Mic drop. That's it. Pack it up, boys. We're going home.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.
Don't leave. We have a lot more show left.
Yeah, no, we gotta do your show master. What's next?
Up next, a little bit of Outlaws stuff. I highly recommend to anybody who is looking for some really good Outlaws updates, go on over to Star Wars Explains channel. Alex got to interview some of the people working on Outlaws, as well as the Matt Martin, who's one of the story group heads. For me, I really want to dive into some of the story stuff. I mean, a good bit of the conversations here. Um, a lot of them talking about like there's this like 80-20 rule of like 80% familiar, 20% alien, 20% fantastical. And I love that as a basic building block principle because I feel like that is like the golden ratio for anything Star Wars gaming, especially. And I'm super excited for this game. I think I got my fix of like lightsaber Jedi sword play heroic adventuring with Fallen Order and Survivor, that like I can happily be like, and this video game is about a scoundrel.
Star Wars GTA, baby.
Yeah, yeah, or like Star Wars Black Flag, even.
Yeah.
That I can very happily be like, okay, I had my fun with the lightsaber. You know, I like early on there, I was getting a little frustrated, because it was all Battlefront and squadrons, and I'm like, all right, can I do like Jedi stuff, please? And I got
Right.
two incredible games about doing Jedi shit. So I got my fix, and even though it is my preferred mode of Star Wars gaming to get to wave a laser sword around, um, I am very excited for this game. Um, I think the other thing that I'm the most excited for about this game is the era of which it's taking place. Because
Yeah,
I
it's
remember
right
when,
between.
yeah, it's the year between Jedi and Empire.
Yeah.
So like, and I what I love about it is that when they were pitching this game, Lucasfilm told them this is when you should set it. Which is very exciting because for those who aren't in the know, and I haven't read all the comics myself, but I'm up to date with like what's going on, is that in that year and some change between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, um, because the Empire is so frantically focused on trying to quell the Rebel Alliance, they have kind of let the syndicates run wild. So now there are these like two separate governing bodies, which is the Galactic Empire, which controls everything, and all of the syndicates that control the things that the Empire isn't paying attention to. You have the Pikes, you have the Hutts, you have I know there's another one in play here that's newer to the game that's name escapes me. Um but yeah, I just this era is like a really fascinating choice, and I am excited to see what overlap it may or may not have with things like Crimson Reign and War of the Bounty Hunters. Like I would be really excited to see if there is like, oh yeah, and like Crimson Dawn's up to this, and um like they said, like we can go to Jabba's palace, like that, like,
Yeah.
and we travel all over Tatooine. And I know people love to do the whole like, oh, like don't get me wrong. I think I generally dislike most desert planets because they, due to their location, kind of have to have the more boring architecture and cityscapes and whatnot. But the new canon, in particular, the past couple years, have done so much to make Tatooine feel like a real fucking place and not just the location you have to go to because it was in the first Star Wars. Like Book
Yeah.
of Boba Fett. Again, people talk mad shit about Book of Boba Fett, and they're wrong.
Indeed.
And one of the main reasons they're wrong is like, thanks to Book of Boba Fett, we have this like very rich culture with the Tuscans and this very fascinating look at the way that like towns and cities like Mos Espa and Mos Eisley are affected by the fact that these towns are ostensibly run by cartels. That like they like, yeah, there is a mayor, but that fucking mayor is working incredibly closely with the Hutts and the Pikes and etc. Um, so like getting to like walk the streets of Mos Eisley, like when Jabba owns Tatooine,
Yeah. That's like,
like not
yeah.
only does Jabba own Tatooine, like he got to put his slug balls on the table and was like, yeah, Solo belongs to me. And not only does Solo belong to me, the people who worked for me all went to war to bring him to me. You know, like Jabba's feeling invincible right now. And and again, it's one of those fun things.
Peak
Like you
Jabba.
read, huh?
Peak Jabba.
Peak Jabba. Peak Jabba. Jabba is him. What if I? Oh wait.
Jabba the him.
Jabba the him. What if I told you Jabba the Hutt?
Dog.
I love playing that clip. No, but like
Yeah.
Jabba runs everything right now, and you get to walk the streets of Tatooine, and that's Jabba's city. And retroactively, it's so fascinating that you can be like, yeah, look at look at just this long, continuous stream of W's that Jabba picks up during this era. No wonder
Right.
he went, "Hey Jedi, fuck you."
Yeah, Jabba's
Fuck around
walking
and
tall
find
as
out,
hell.
Jedi scum.
Yeah.
Like, no wonder he felt invincible, and no wonder it cost him his life.
Plus, he's got a Rancor.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Part of me, when I start playing Outlaws, dog. Because so are you aware of like the like reputation system that they're
Oh, yeah,
introducing
that
to
you can
it?
like piss off the different clans and stuff.
Yeah, it's like if you piss off a certain cartel, they'll be like, hey, like we'll
Put like a
send
bounty on you or something.
they'll put like a small bounty on you, and then you can like kind of win them back over. But if you keep fucking with them, it will get to the point where they're sending like harder and harder to deal with bounty hunters. And what I'm really hoping is that there comes a point where you have fucked with a cartel or a syndicate so bad that now you are getting named characters coming after you.
Yeah, like all of
Like,
a sudden Boba Fett pops up.
Yeah. Like I
You're
have,
like,
I have,
"Cad Bane."
I have fucked the Hutt cartel so hard that I have Boba Fett up my ass.
Yeah.
I want to piss
That would
off
be
Crimson
fun.
Dawn so bad that they send Dengar after me. I'm probably just gonna to test it out. I'm the crazy fuck that like with older Assassin's
Fair.
Creed games with Grand Theft Auto, where I would just walk into the street and blow some shit up, and I'm like, okay, I just want to have a shootout.
Yeah.
Just for fun. I
Yeah,
just
just
wanna,
for funsies. That's fine.
just for funsies. I want to turn this like freeway into a shooting gallery. I'm here for the combat. I'm here for that element. So like,
I just want to see how the gun. I just want to see how it shoots.
Yeah. I just send me your worst. I want to test my might against all these bounty hunters. But yeah, dude, Outlaws is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
I cannot
excited.
wait. This is gonna be so great.
Did you saw the thing about the speeder bike? I'm assuming where they had one that was like actually made, and there was somebody riding it outside the studio.
Oh yeah, they set up like a little green screen thing so everybody could be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Alex and Molly posting their like fun little video things from that. It was very cute. I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving right along here. Last thing we have is Ahsoka trailer talk before we get into the Q&A.
Yes.
Jason, what did you think about that Ahsoka trailer?
I'm pretty hyped. I initially when I watched it, I was kind of thinking like that I thought they were trying to turn Sabine into Ezra instead of trying to find Ezra, and that kind of threw me off. But then I like watched it again, thought about it a little more, and I was like, nah, definitely not what we're trying to do. I think it's just my brain took it a weird way the first time for some reason.
I think the trailer leaves it kind of ambiguous as to whether or not Sabine is force sensitive, and I think that is I think that is such a like bam like bold decision up front that you're like, what are you getting at here? This is an interesting decisions are being made right now.
Yeah, but like she calls Ahsoka master, and then like she's also, I mean, like she just has Ezra's lightsaber. I think, like,
Yeah. Well, because
it's
I
not
believe
her
he
lightsaber,
leaves it
but
with her. I believe he leaves it with
yeah,
her in the Rebels finale, if I remember
yeah,
correctly.
he does.
And well, I know like people I can understand the whole idea that like maybe like Ahsoka is training Sabine like in Jedi martial arts.
Yeah,
And it's like this is how you use a lightsaber. Like if you're gonna have this, you should know how to use it.
right.
But honestly, I normally am not in love with the surprise this character is force sensitive thing.
But the fact that it's a Mandalorian is quite intriguing.
It's well, I mean, for me, it makes it even more like for me,
Mm,
because she's a Mandalorian. Because like typically, I rub up against it like, and it almost always it is because of like the context of the character. Like for example, Finn. I want to see a Jedi Finn in the Rey movie when that becomes a thing. However, whenever initially it is confirmed, and back in 2015 when we were speculating about it, the whole idea of Finn being force sensitive annoyed me for no other reason than it annoyed me that the First Order would not like be meticulously trying to find force sensitives in their ranks.
right.
And it boggled my mind that such a military force that like was to the detriment of their capacity to be a government was so focused on military might. We're not like, yeah, and we're gonna build an army of dark Jedi while we're at it.
Right.
That like that always like that never sat right with me. It was never, oh, I don't want Finn to be a Jedi. It was more like, why didn't the First Order fucking do something with
Yeah,
all these
how do they
forces?
not know?
Like, if there's enough force sensitives for there to be like pockets of stormtrooper rebellions, this sounds like an army of dark Jedi to me. And you said no, you dum dum. Why would you do
Right.
that? And yeah, and then again, at that point, we're getting into
Or
like,
like to add him to the Knights of Ren or something even.
yeah, yeah, and
But
yeah, fill out the ranks of the Knights of Ren. And again, this is very like nerd pushing up the glasses. I'm actually type shit, and is neither here nor there. But like ever since one of the big quote unquote reveals of the franchise became the Chancellor's a Sith Lord, like anytime someone has been force sensitive the whole time, I get I it just I take a deep sigh and then I kind of have to be like, all right, sell me on it. All of that
right.
said, I am kind of sold on Sabine being force sensitive. And I'm interested to see that if that's where it goes, because I'm fascinated to see Ahsoka become a teacher, and I'm fascinated to see
Yeah.
Ahsoka through a mix of different insecurities and senses of personal failure, rub up against and fail to rise to the occasion. We see her consider taking in and training Grogu and then go, no, I can't do it. And she couches it in, oh, attachment and da da da, all this stuff. And it's like, okay, I buy that. And then we see that she's actually like by Luke's side while he's training Grogu. And then you kind of start to get the vibe of, oh, you weren't against Grogu being trained. You were against you training him. And then we get this stuff in the trailer with Sabine. And it's like, again, you attempted to do this whole teacher thing and then backed out at the 11th hour. And I think Ahsoka's very complicated path that she has taken up to this point of being somebody who is so fully dedicated to what the Jedi stand for as at the beginning of the war, and becoming, I don't want to say more and more disillusioned throughout the war, but more and more aware of the fact that maybe the Jedi aren't living up to their mission statement. And then having her faith in the Order shattered when they see how quickly they were ready to dispose of her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we see her start to gain that sense of righteousness in the Order back during the Siege of Mandalore, and see her kind of like, maybe I want to do this again. And you see that bit of trepidation in her, and then it's all destroyed and taken away from her. So you have that, and then you get to her realizing that her teacher is the man who annihilated the Order, and that she has to square that with everything. She has to square who and what Vader is with the fact that she wasn't there, that she blames herself for Anakin's fall. And if she is responsible for Anakin's fall, then she is responsible for the death of the Order in some way, shape, or form. So like on top of the fact that, maybe she's in her head about like, I never truly became a Jedi Knight, that perhaps part of that is also not only did I not fully become a Jedi Knight, when my master needed me most, I let him become a monster. Now, should Ahsoka be blaming herself for that? No.
No.
But that's survivor's guilt, baby. Like that's how that works. Like
That's
I don't.
showbiz.
That's showbiz. Hey, sometimes you blame yourself for genocide.
To the best of us, you know.
It happens to the best of us. So no, I think Ahsoka having to walk that line of like maybe it starts with teaching Sabine how to wave a lightsaber around, and then it's like, oh fuck, you can use the Force. This is real now.
Like it starts as like this, like, hey, I'll teach you how to use the
Like
sword, kid.
like this,
And then it's
this is
like,
fencing. This
oh
is
shit.
fencing, and then she does
Yeah.
magic, and then she does space magic.
Yeah, then she's like, oh shit. Well, now I have to teach you all about the space magics.
And I've convinced myself that I'm not capable of doing that.
I have
Like
myself entirely convinced that I am not equipped to do so. Damn it.
yeah, and like I think there's something in it that is fascinating with what is I think Ahsoka has already kind of tipped its hat with what its like core message is going to be. And it is with Hu Yang in both trailers we've got with the perhaps it is time to begin again. And I think that is going to be the crux of everybody's journey in this show. And that excites me a lot. That everybody's path in this show is perhaps it is time to begin again. And
Go ahead.
no, just that. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask you, like, what do you think that means? Like, to begin again.
I think it's going to be different for everybody. I think that Balin Skull and his apprentice, whose name escapes me, rest in peace, Ray Stevenson.
Hati?
Hati, yes, that is it.
Yeah.
See, that's why you're going to join my faction, Kason.
Right.
No, like I think for them, like there's going to be some warped sense of what the order should be. I listen. We don't know much about Balin Skull and Hottie. I will tell you, if they go the direction I hope they're going, that they're like, I don't want to say dark, like gray Jedi, because we've already kind of gotten word that like they're going to refer to themselves as dark Jedi, which is going to be great engagement for me. But
Yes.
I am going
Here
to
comes
go.
the blow up, baby.
Here comes the accidentally going viral on Twitter every time I tweet about Ahsoka because of my fucking name. I tweeted about the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale, like right as I finished it. And the first like on Twitter I got was from the Star Wars account, which like algorithmically put me in so many fucking people's feed. And it was like and I've had a hit tweet or two before.
Yeah.
That was like sincerely mind-boggling waking up in the morning and like my phone's catching on fire with how many Twitter notifications I'm getting. That's what I'm trying to get here again. But like
I was hoping to do that with my tweet earlier today.
what was your tweet earlier today?
The Rebels one. Just Star Wars Rebels is so good, dude.
Oh, I mean you're
like,
right.
It's like maybe somebody will pick this up.
It's just objectively true.
But
no, I think it'll be different for everybody. I think like Balin Skull and Hottie, like with this Dark Jedi angle, I think it would be really interesting if like their version of beginning again is like we need a more militant version of the Jedi Order so that this can never happen again. That they're kind of out to do their own thing, and their interests may align with Thrawn's, or maybe it's a three-way chase to some type of MacGuffin. Obviously, it's time to begin again. For Thrawn, that is reforging the Galactic Empire in some way, shape, or form with him at the center of it. And with him at the center of it, that means the Chiss Ascendancy in some way, shape, or form. Maybe I don't know how attached to the Ascendancy he is at this point. I haven't read those books. But,
yes,
I think for Ahsoka, it's going to be about maybe like her fully accepting the role of Jedi again. I think there's a whole lot of hay made out of I'm no Jedi.
Yeah.
That statement I think is at times taken too literally and also not taken seriously enough. And I I look forward to that for her. Ezra's rejoining the galaxy after being gone for like 10 years
Yeah.
ish. For Sabine, like we see her, we see two distinct looks for Sabine in the trailer. It is her in a flight suit with long hair, and her with short hair back in her armor. Like
Yep.
clearly, like this is somebody who's like, I'm a fucking Mandalorian, god damn it, and I'm gonna save my friend.
Right.
Like that excites me a lot, and I cannot wait to see what "It Is Time to Begin Again" means for everybody involved.
Absolutely. Real quick questions, because I might be dumb and I might not have
Oh, you're not dumb.
been as
You have a life, buddy.
I might not have fair. I might not have crossed all my T's as I thought I did. I don't remember if I watched or if I read something earlier that said that the Inquisitor that Ahsoka takes out, it's at the end of Clone Wars, right? Or was it part
Tales of the
of
Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi? Yeah. So okay, never mind. So we don't see it anywhere. But one of the things I saw earlier said that Ahsoka takes the kyber crystals from like the double-edged Inquisitor blade and purified both of them, and that's what she uses in her sabers now.
Mm-hmm. That is in the Ahsoka novel, is where we first got that.
Okay.
Now, the Ahsoka novel has like stands in a really weird place in terms of canonicity because Dave Filoni keeps kind of like coming back through and like I don't want to say adapting because when E.K. Johnston, who is her own bag of cats to talk about that we don't have time for and I don't have the desire to discuss today, when she wrote the Ahsoka novel, it was on the heels of Dave Filoni at a Star Wars Celebration being like, "This is what we would have done if we did the Siege of Mandalore. How fucking cool is that?" And then it was like, yeah. And then E.K. Johnston wrote a book about it, and it was E.K. Johnston working with like Dave Filoni's ideas for like the Siege of Mandalore, and this is what Ahsoka does in her time post purge, pre-rebellion, and it's her like basically deciding to rejoin the fight, and at one point in that, she goes toe to toe with an Inquisitor, defeats them, kills them, takes the kyber crystals, purifies them, and rebuilds and builds new lightsabers.
Okay.
Stuff with the Siege of Mandalore got like weirdly retconned with the actual with the Clone Wars. Same with how Tales of the Jedi kind of retcons the timeline and how exactly things shook out for her post Order 66. So the book is like it stands in a weird place canonicity wise, but you can make it work in your head. Who fucking cares?
Okay.
But yeah, no, that is true. That is canon.
So, yeah. Only thing that I saw earlier, which I'm sure you know about, was the Purrgil in the part of the trailer where Ahsoka and Baylan are going at each other.
Yeah.
Like in the World Between Worlds, like one of the portals along the wall has the Purrgil on it.
So,
or it looks like a Purrgil. Maybe not.
It's probably. I mean, it probably is a Purrgil. We do know, or not no, but like it does look like that. That is not in the World Between Worlds. I do think it will be in the show. But it turns out it's one of those like KOTOR style star maps.
Okay.
Because we see one of those get turned on in like the same space. So it looks like Baylan and Ahsoka are throwing down like in the projection of the star map.
Okay. Like she found their war room.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, or maybe like it's some like weird ancient temple that has the star map in it. Whatever they do with that. I do like the idea that Baylan Skoll knew Anakin Skywalker.
Yes.
And at what point he knew Anakin Skywalker is also going to be a fun discussion.
Isn't he like confirmed to be an Order 66 survivor?
Yes.
Or not entirely yet.
I think it's confirmed that he is an Order 66 survivor, and maybe Hati was like a youngling, something like that. I don't know. Again, Hati, the actor playing her, is like our age. Like she has that like platinum blonde white hair that like in certain shots she does look about Baylan's age, but the actor is like I think younger than me. I think she's 24 or something like that. So like it's not like she could have been like a full-fledged Jedi Knight in Order 66 because like it's been like 15 years. So who knows how old she was? I think they both might be survivors of the Jedi Purge, but I
Like,
know
I think she might have
Balin,
been his apprentice.
something like that, or at the very least she is now because she has a Padawan braid.
Well, yeah.
So like again, and that's what I'm super excited to learn about with both of them. But yeah, Balin being an Order 66 survivor is super cool. And like, Anakin Skywalker spoke highly of you. Does that mean like, brown hair, blue lightsaber, flowing robes? Or does that mean you just knew who was in the black suit?
Yeah.
Like that's a fascinating prospect. Now, but the fact that he's referring to Anakin by name, like probably implies that like they both knew each other during the
it would
war.
have to be,
But like still, man, like that would be really fascinating. And another fun little wrinkle in this that may or may not come up. But like Thrawn knows who Darth Vader was.
Yeah.
Like Thrawn alliances, people don't like Thrawn alliances. I think they're wrong. The central conceit of that book being Thrawn going on an adventure with Vader that is directly tied to an adventure Thrawn went on Anakin Skywalker with.
Oh, yeah.
Or went on with Anakin Sky. I think I just yoded that.
Yeah,
Don't
he went
mind
on
me.
a mission. Yeah, he
Yeah.
went on a mission with Anakin to save Padme.
Yeah, and it's like they kind of have to retrace their steps, and like the whole time it's Vader being like, "You better not know who I am," and it's Thrawn being like, "How many times can I imply that I know who you are before I create a situation where you have to kill me?" So like I would also be fascinated for like to get a moment where it's like Thrawn and Ahsoka. It's like, Ahsoka Tano, I accompanied your master on 2 occasions. Anakin Skywalker was a cunning warrior. Like I want to see people try to play the Anakin card with her. And another thing we know is that Hayden is going to be in this show. It was reported by Vanity Fair Variety years ago. And Hayden Christensen has done a really bad job at pretending that he's not in this show. A friend of Kason and I, guy we met, Hayden Christensen.
Right. Throw the picture up now.
I should have had it in the thing to do that. But no, like people would ask Hayden like, I could be Ahsoka, and he'd be like, I'm not allowed to talk about that yet. It's like, why would you say it like that? Would that be your answer? You said yes.
Right.
You just said yes.
Yeah.
I can't talk about
I'm
that
involved,
yet.
but I can't tell you that I'm involved.
Yeah. Homeboy needs some media training, but no, yeah, this show's gonna be fantastic. I cannot wait. But yeah, with that, unless you have anything else on the Ahsoka front, let's do some Q&A. Do some Q&A. I don't think we have any KNR related Patreon questions. Let me just refresh real quick before we pivot to stuff from the Twitters. I'm not calling it X. Go fuck yourself.
Get bent.
Cool. Let's flip on over here and see what our friends have to ask us. Friend of the show, Alden Diaz, my arch rival, says, what aspects of Lando's character do you hope to see expanded upon in the series? I want Lando to be gayer. I want to see him kiss a boy.
We would like to see Lando slinging dick left and right to anyone and everyone. That's what I was talking about though. Like when I'm like, well, not that exactly, but like when I think of like Donald Glover taking over that series and him just being like, the era of Lando that I am playing was being filmed and like the whole thing happened like in the 70s and like into the 80s. Like, I don't know if there is anything cooler than a like 70s space pimp daddy. Like I just think that would be so much fun. And I think that where Donald's mind would go with that would be a great place.
Sensational. That's his word.
Exactly. I think it'll be sensational.
Fantastic. No, I agree. You know, I do. I can't wait to see like that suave side of him, and I do want to see more of that. I want to see, I want to see Lando put the moves on somebody. Like it was when it's really fascinating to me the way that like certain character traits for certain Star Wars characters become their entire brand off of like one scene. You
Yeah,
know, like it's all it takes is one scene, and that is how that character is defined. Like we get Lando in Empire put the moves on Leia, and because it was Billy D. Williams and it's this incredibly handsome and charismatic actor, that from now on, Lando fucks. Doesn't matter
yeah,
where he is, doesn't matter who in the room, Lando fucks. And he fucks a lot.
absolutely.
He fucks hard. He fucks
Hard.
good. He fucks good. He's not, like, and that just became part of his character. Look at Return of the Jedi. Look at the other movie he's in. There is no scene of Lando being like super smooth or suave. A lot of that movie, Lando's like kind of losing his cool.
Yeah,
Like with the stuff on the sail barge and like him getting kind of anxious during the Battle of Endor. But like Billy D. Williams sells "Hello, what have we here?" so well that like when we think Lando Calrissian, we think like smooth, suave, big time operator, charm your pants off
yep.
forever.
That's that dude.
That's that dude. And I do want to see more of that, and I do want to see them like acknowledge like yes, and look at this, smooth, suave queer character. Like most of the queer Star Wars representation we have in canon is relegated to material that is either not on TV or in film. And the only that I can think of queer relationship on live action Star Wars is Cinta and Vel in Andor, and not to boohoo that relationship, but like it's so depressing and toxic. Like it is that like the mission comes before everything. We have what's left. Like, can I just see Lando like make a boy blush? You know, like it's
I
one of
just want
those
to see him
things.
call someone cute, man.
Yeah, I just want to see him call somebody cute. I want to see him charm some guy. Like that's one of my things, which like telling stories of about queerness cannot be inextricably it is inextricably tied to anti-queer bigotry. Like you can't pretend it doesn't exist. But by the same token, not every story about queerness needs to be about somebody who hates themselves because they can't come out, or is, their family fucking hates them because they're queer, and like all of these other things. Like it's like, again, not that I'm equipped to talk about this, and not that I'm comparing the two things, but just in terms of like media diet, it's the same reason why like you see a lot of like black film critics and black people who talk about film and media are constantly like, please do, you don't, I promise you do not need to tell another slave story.
Yeah,
You do not need to tell me another story about slavery. I promise we get it. You can tell a story, you can tell an uplifting story about black people that does not involve showing them being enslaved first. And I think the queer version of that, not that they're the same, but like the queer permutation there is it like the only live action on screen canon queer relationship in Star Wars are two people who are like bound to die in like a grimy street,
yeah,
who don't have the emotional bandwidth to actually be there for each other. You know, like it's a tragic relationship, and that's not to say that you can't write a tragic queer relationship. It's just the only fucking one. The only one we have in live action that I can think of is that. And I would love to just see Lando just casually just like flirting with boys. Make him kiss a boy. Um so yeah, that's what I would like to see expanded upon with Pando Landino. Moving right along, trying to get the other questions here. We already hit Scotty's question. We have a question from our commissioner. It's a two-prong question. So one of them is for me specifically about the small Star Wars content creator collective known as the Goon Squad. But the other one is for both of us, or anybody who was on the panel, but it's both of us now. What are our top 3 Star Wars moments from 2023 so far?
Ooh. I would say. All right, I'm gonna kind of like rattle some off, and then I might put them in a different order after I rattle them off.
Okay.
Seeing the Mythosaur in live action, very fucking cool.
Live action Mythosaur based.
Yeah. Also, live action Zeb.
Live action Zeb.
Live action Zeb, very fucking cool. Very fucking cool. Very excited for that to like actually like do some more.
I know we talked about it a billion times. It just can't go without mentioning it again. The fact that like, okay, all these Rebels characters are coming in live action, and that Dave Filoni put his balls in his cowboy hat and slammed it on the table and went, and I'm gonna start with the purple monkey man. Fuck you. You think I can't bring this shit into live action? Here's a purple ape walking upright who's also a tiger. Here's a purple tiger ape. Fuck you.
What do you think of it?
What do you think of that? I'm gonna shove a bow rifle up your ass. Anyway,
yeah,
fucking
dude,
fantastic.
It was a pretty big swing, and it hit for sure. It was very good.
It's gonna be a big nut bust.
Yes. I've only talked about stuff that happened in Mando so far.
I got another one for Mando. I think it might be my favorite Star Wars moment of the year so far.
Oh yeah, number 1. All right, let me hear yours.
Keller and Beck saving Grogu.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah,
that has got to be my number 1 for the year so far. I don't know.
3 of them just from Mando.
I mean, it's like the main Star Wars thing we got. Is that and Bad Batch this season? Which was fantastic. Make no mistake. I don't know.
From one of Saw Gerrera's existence in the second season of the Bad Batch.
Saw Gerrera period is always a top 5 experience for me.
Negative for me.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
No, I know.
You fucking lib. Okay, you don't get to talk this game of burning cars and rioting and shit, and then be like, I think Saw Gerrera is a little bit too much. Nah, fuck that pussy shit.
Yeah,
fuck that pussy shit.
I know.
It's Rom Coda hours. It's Rom Coda hours. It is Saw Gerrera hours. It is Cal Kestis hours.
I am with the movement. I just wish that he was a bit more considerate.
I know.
With his movements.
With his explosives. So yeah.
Just having to hear Omega go, tick, and just nothing but the glasses, nothing but the goggles, and I was like, Bad Batch Season 2 spoilers. Sorry, it's been several months. You should already have watched it.
Several months. We did an episode about it.
Yes.
So yeah, Keller and Beck saving Grogu is absolutely number 1 for me. Number 2, there's a lot I could pick from Jedi Survivor. I think the big one for me is still, and I'm sorry, Casey, but this is early in the game and we've talked about this already. It's Cal killing the Ninth Sister. That scene still fucks me up. Like I knew it. I knew it when it happened that was never going to leave me. Your name was Masana Tide. It's time to set you free. I was like, yeah, that changed my brain chemistry. After hyperspace, we were hanging out in the StreamYard, and we started talking about Jedi Survivor. And when we were done, I sat down and started playing Jedi Survivor just to do the boss battle again, just to fight Ninth Sister, just to fight Ninth Sister. So that's 3. Or that's 2. I need 3. I think my third 2023 might be a moment from Rise of the Red Blade, Star Wars Inquisitor by Delilah S. Dawson. And I think that moment is Iskat. Just it's not even like a moment, but it is every instance in that book where Iskat is like falling into that trap. It's like what Connor was talking about earlier, that the dark side sells slavery as you being the master, and you like
Yeah.
that you'll master your
When you come
emotions.
into it, you have to. Yeah. When you come into it, you're a slave.
And a lot of I think for me it is seeing Iskat in her early initiation of being in the Inquisitorius, and the fact that they like fully lean into the whole idea that you have to get jumped in by Darth Vader. That's not a joke. That is why most of the Inquisitors have some type of amputation. Just because Vader fucked them up in their initiation. But like, I love Iskat just having these moments of like, well, the Jedi wanted me to suppress these feelings, and here I'm allowed to lean into them. Granted, everybody hates each other and everybody kind of wants to kill the other ones, but like, I'm allowed to feel the way I feel. And it's that like, oh, honey, you've traded one for another. This isn't what you want. And it is such a nuanced approach to the dark side as from a character's perspective that I was deeply affecting and was effective. Is that 3 for both of us?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool. And then the other one, Eli asks, if the goons were Jedi, what lightsaber forms would they specialize in? And that is for me. Jerry Cable is Jerry's giving Sarisu. He's a very soft, kind person, and I see in his person Jerry the Cannon Junkie from the Bombad cast. I see him being someone who would be defensive in nature, would not lean into an aggressive mode of attack. So I see that for Jerry. Scotty is going to be a 9-man practitioner. I see Scotty J-Ro. He is an academic. He's a teacher, and that 9-man was designed for 2 things: for people who wanted to be optimized for a combat situation, who did not want to dedicate their life to the lightsaber. And I think that is exactly Scotty's jam. It is versatile. It is a jack of all trades form that is designed to make you adequate in any given situation. And when taken to the nth degree, with practitioners like Exar Kun and Revan, you end up with somebody who is not just a jack of all trades; they're a master of all. Because then it is the low bar of proficiency, high bar of mastery of 9-man that sets it apart from the other Jedi martial arts. Connor, keep it simple. Shicho. I see Connor be, again, it is the initiate's form, but then there are Jedi like Kit Fisto who take it to the to another level and fully flesh it out as a martial art. I see Connor, just keeping it simple, being very straightforward with his use of the blade and not overcomplicating things, just keeping it right in the pocket and nothing too crazy. Bill Sheehy, my boy, Bill the Thrill. Kentucky one, Sheehy of my faction in Epic Confrontations. I see Form 5 Shien variant. I don't know if I see Bill doing all kinds of reverse grip nonsense. But I see Bill's very go with the flow kind of personality being something that would lend him well as well to Shicho Form 1 as well. But also I see his ability to kind of like move with the moment as something that would do him well in a situation where he's like needing to deflect blaster bolts and be very reactive in the moment. Trey Mitchell, Mile High Cinema, both of the skywalking through the league guys, back to back. I think Trey is gonna. Trey's favorite lightsaber is Count Dooku's, and just for that, I'm gonna throw him towards Form 2 Makashi. I think that would be his jam, because that's for the best situation we can use that lightsaber. Maybe Form 5 because he is a taller guy. He goes to the gym a good bit, so he's fit. So Trey could probably mollywop you with Gem So Form 5. Michael McCoy. Michael McCoy. You know, I think Michael McCoy would also kind of fall into the same kind of basket as Scotty with the 9-man stuff. He strikes me as somebody who is much more interested in an academic approach to the Force. So I think both Michael and Scotty both kind of fall into that. Scotty falls into 9-man for the optimization element. I think Scotty, he's an academic, so like it covers your bases. But I also think Scotty could then like shift that academic prowess to like doing an Exar Kun with 9-man, where I think Michael is more this is what 9-man was designed for, to cover your bases, because you're more interested in understanding the Force on an academic level. For myself, because I've put way too much thought into this, because I'm a big old fucking nerd. Form 7 Juya is designed to not be approached unless the practitioner. Oh wait, did I do Alden yet?
Yeah, I didn't do Alden.
I did not do Alden. I think Alden and I would both be Form 7 users. Form 7 is everybody's application of Juya. It's one of the reasons why I think it's it is my favorite lightsaber martial art, is that no two applications are the same, because Juya is so advanced in technique and in philosophy. It kind of has a prerequisite of like, you need to be good at other martial arts to attempt this. So like Mace Windu's approach to Form 7 is different from, say, Sora Bulk or Darth Maul. Now, granted, you also get like the difference in Jedi Sith philosophy there, but it's also what makes he's so fascinating as a Form 7 user. So Alden, I see going the Vapad route. Using the negative energy against his opponent. Pause. Mace Windu doesn't use the fucking dark side. And I'm tired of you fucking people saying he does. Kaysen has seen me go on this fucking rant before. What Mace Windu
myself so you can go on your tangent.
Fucking Mace does not use the dark side. Vapad is to directly quote Matthew Stover in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, a superconducting loop. He is feeding off of his of his like kind of like base id, like enjoyment of a lightsaber duel, and feeding off of the dark emotions of his opponent to redirect it onto them. Like, they use the term superconducting loop. It's almost like a filter, where like Mace is actively like taking in his opponent's dark side, like Force imprint, and purifying it through himself, giving him an amp in combat. Mace Windu is not touching the dark side. Mace Windu stands firmly put with one foot against the dark side. Not in it. He's not tapping into it. He does not touch it. Mace Windu does not use the dark side. And I know it's hard for some people because red and blue makes purple. I'm so sad Kason muted himself because I got a really big laugh from him.
That was really funny.
Thank you. But like he doesn't use the dark side, and with Alden, you know, he's a very ferocious person. Form 7 is the ferocity form. So I see Alden being able to kind of tap into that, you know, and I would like to think that like my application of Juya would probably like go towards Vapad. I am not arrogant enough to say that I would be capable of doing that because at least in Legends, every person who wasn't Mace Windu who tried to learn Vapad went fucking crazy because they could not grasp that very firm and nuanced, like, I take in your darkness and purify it into myself to empower myself technique.
You were just taking in the darkness and then being like,
yeah, you just
why do I feel this way?
You got lost in the sauce, and that is why the ferocity form was forbidden for most Jedi. Even Obi-Wan Kenobi was barred from studying Juya. Like that's the thing from Legends, but like he wanted to look into it because he was like, oh, like I got my ass handed to me by this Sith Lord. I'm gonna fucking die. I watched him kill my master. I want to know how to fight like this guy. And the Jedi Council went, no,
Yeah.
for exactly the reasons you just gave.
Example A, the man over here in the padded cell.
Yeah. Like you don't get to teach yourself the ferocity form because you watch someone get killed with it. That is the number one reason why you should not study this form.
Yeah.
Because you will go fucking nuts. The same way Depa Billaba and Sora Bulk went fucking nuts in Legends because Juya kind of breaks your brain. You need like the Juya is a test of a Jedi's resolve and ability to be in the same room as the dark side and resist it. You know, it is not tapping into darkness, it is resisting it and staying forthright in the light, fighting for the light against the darkness. For Alden, I see him I see Alden with a very more the Makashi side of it. I see Alden fighting like Hayate Mundi. I see this like Makashi Ataru hybrid, but like way more on the Makashi side of things with that like with like the sword play of Makashi, that like push and pull fencer style with the physicality and overwhelming ability to kind of move around your opponent that Ataru is famous for.
Who are you giving this to?
Alden.
Okay. I was gonna, strictly based on Michael's energy. I don't know Michael that well yet, but strictly based on Michael's energy, I was gonna be like, give that motherfucker Ataru.
I could see Michael going Ataru as well. Like I see like the 9-man thing because like he's such a writer, and like when I think of Michael, I think of him as like my DM. So like I see, I like in my mind, Michael is like an academic in some way. But I can also see but you are right. You are right. I think like there would be like an Ataru 9-man type marriage there. For me, again, Juya should, you know, I would want to study Juya. I would like to think Vapad. I would like to think I would be capable of, you know, coming close to touching darkness, and being able to cycle it through myself. But it would be a version of Juya that is built on the back of Form 5. I'm a big dude. I'm a strong dude. You know, it defined all of my lightsaber fighting with friends was the fact that I was stronger than most people I knew. So I could just kind of hammer down at somebody and put them on their back foot. So Gemso Form 5 with the with the like footwork and nimbleness of Form 4, as well as the fact that Form 4 does offer training in dual blade fencing, which is something Nyman and Ataru both do, and would again probably be something Michael would look into. But the dual blade fencing would also be something I would be very interested in including in there, both in the direction of the saber staff and just, you know, 2 lightsabers in each hand. And I would like to concoct that into some version of Juya again. I'd like to think Vapad. But I'll let
I
other
think you
people.
could do that.
I let other people be the judge of that. I am not so bold to say that. Yes, I could master the only martial. I could master the martial that was only mastered by Mace Windu. I say that as the big old Mace Windu stan. Having a little bit more fun here. Kaysen, I see going a Obi-Wan style route of like a forms 3, 4, and 1 in that order. Of having like a very well-rounded offense and defense with the very simplistic blade work involved. Spencer, I have always said for years, Makashi, even before we were like super into the 7 forms and it affected a lot of hangouts between Spencer, Joel, and I, and long nights in backyards beating the shit out of each other with glow sticks. Spencer always kind of had this like one-handed, Count Dooku fencer style thing going on. Joel form 3. Joel does like the form 3 with like a skosh of form 2 in there. Like it would be that very similar to how like Obi-Wan's whole like maxim in combat is like, I'm going to let you just like beat yourself into the brick wall of my defenses. And once you start to once that chink in the armor reveals itself, like, there will be a very quick blow dealt. The Ataru stuff factors in with him because of like the physicality he brings to form 3 with the form 4 flavor. With Joel, it would be that like Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, you're brushing up against this this stonewall defense. But again, Joel, who has trained in like European fencing, but also like he has such a mind for precision that I see him, where like Spencer would kind of do like a pure form 2. Like just that Dooku style of like, I know how to do the other ones, but this is the one I like the most. Feigning away, dodging, avoiding like a head-on strike, and then moving in for these like clean cuts. I see Joel being somebody who is as versatile as a person, being able to like endure a stone, like endure putting up a stonewall defense, and being able to on a dime switch into that and because I've blocked you for so long that your sword is all the way out here and now you got a hole in your belly. I don't see Travis with one at all because I don't. Travis is a scoundrel pilot type. I can't
I
imagine.
was about to say black leader.
Yeah, he's our Poe Dameron. Yeah, that was so nerdy. It is miraculous I've ever had sex before. Unbelievable.
That's the show.
Unbelievable that I have.
Unbelievable.
I have seen
Crazy.
I have seen people's private parts. Wow.
In person.
In person.
Crazy.
Yeah. God, that is the nerdiest thing that's ever fallen out of my fucking mouth. For like 15 straight minutes of me just going full virgin. Kaysen, where can the people find you, buddy?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Cray Breezy, just like it says here.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so used to. We've done like 17 apps in a row, and
You're so good.
my brain is used to like Jared where from Travis that I was like, oh yeah, Kaysen doesn't do that. That's not Kaysen's bit. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at DarkJedi2552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, our website, or wherever you get podcasts, and our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Hey, give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Keandre Lloyd.
Colin Provolone. Sir.
So good.
Steal yourself, Colin! Steal yourself!
This is me stealing myself. And to Paco, aka Elix Jones.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
And to our $10 patron, Ray Clausen, who implores you guys to go donate to Equality Texas, a charity keeping queer kids safe in the Lone Star State. So go on over and consider donating
Hell yeah.
to Equality Texas. I keep losing my cursor. There we go. Programming notes. Once Spencer is back from his vacation and things calm down with my new job, Porter Engel versus Count Dooku. The matchup we were supposed to have for July. Secret Invasion, Heroic History 101, all hitting the Patreon at the $5 tier. Consider the $5 tier because you get access to the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series and Heroic History 101, our exclusive Patreon shows that both have a pretty decent back catalog for you to check out while you wait. Hiccups for these new entries. More hiccups. This will be out on Sunday. Out on Tuesday for you guys. Secret Invasion season review with Mitch from Comic Book Cast. I have a idea for a topic episode I want to try to get in here before Ahsoka starts, and then stay tuned for the Ahsoka stuff. And of course, I said it at the beginning of the episode with the intro that has been accompanying these shows and will be until the end of the strikes. Please consider following the links in our description as well to donate to the Actors Equity Fund to keep the strikes alive and well and help these artists help make historic change in Hollywood. But with that, we are honored that you have joined us. See you guys next time, and may the force be with you always.